Jamais vu. You are sitting at your desk, staring at your own hand, or perhaps looking at a simple, everyday word like house or right. Suddenly, the curves of the letters or the lines on your palm look entirely alien. The word loses all meaning, transforming into a strange, abstract shape. You know what it is, but the feeling of knowing has completely vanished. Jamais vu is the phenomenon of experiencing a highly familiar situation, word, or object, but perceiving it as though it is entirely novel, strange, or foreign. Cognitive scientists view this as a form of neural saturation, or brain fatigue. When a specific pathway is repeatedly stimulated, the cognitive connection remains intact, but the neurological tag for familiarity temporarily fails to fire. Your intellectual brain understands the object, but your intuitive brain fails to recognize it. It is a reminder that your sense of familiarity is just a delicate setting in your mental software. When it glitches, the mundane world loses its mask, exposing the raw, bizarre nature of the objects you take for granted every day. Chronostasis. You glance at the second hand of a wall clock or the red digital digits of a microwave timer. For a frozen, elongated beat, nothing moves. The clock stands still, defying the laws of physics, before suddenly resuming its rhythmic tick. This is chronostasis, a temporal illusion where the first image seen after a rapid eye movement appears to be stretched out in time. When your eyes dart from one point to another, your brain experiences what is known as saccadic masking. To prevent your vision from becoming a disorienting, motion-blurred smear, your visual cortex temporarily pauses its feed. To bridge this sudden gap, your brain takes the first stable image it sees at the destination and projects it backward in time, filling in the blind spot. It retroactively edits your timeline. This means your mind is constantly rewriting your past in real time to maintain a seamless narrative. If your brain is actively hiding these visual interruptions from you, it makes you wonder what other lapses in your immediate reality are being painted over without your permission. The doorway effect. You walk from your living room into the kitchen with a clear purpose, but the moment you step across the threshold, you stop. You look around, your mind completely blank. The reason you came in has vanished. You walk back to the couch, and the moment you sit down, the thought instantly returns. Known scientifically as the location updating effect, this is a psychological phenomenon where passing through a physical boundary causes a sudden lapse in short-term memory. Your brain constructs mental event models to organize information. When you move through a doorway, your cognitive architecture treats the threshold as an event boundary. It purges the local data of the previous room to clear mental bandwidth for the new environment. It is an evolutionary mechanism designed to keep your attention focused on immediate threats and changes. Your mind treats your physical surroundings like loaded zones in a video game. It clears the cache of the previous room the moment you step through, treating your life not as a continuous stream, but as a series of disconnected chapters. The Baader-Meinhof Phenomenon. You learn an unusual word, or you read about a specific model of a vintage car you have never noticed before. Within the next 2 days, you see that exact car parked on your street. You hear the obscure word used on a television show. It feels as though the world has suddenly updated its directory, placing this new detail in your path. Also known as the frequency illusion, this is a cognitive bias where a recently noticed item suddenly seems to appear with improbable frequency in your daily life. Your sensory organs are bombarded with vast amounts of raw data every second. To keep you functional, your brain uses selective attention to filter out 99% of it. Once you actively notice a new concept, your brain flags it as important. Suddenly, your unconscious mind actively searches for it, highlighting what was always there but previously hidden in the background noise. It suggests that your immediate environment is crowded with invisible details, waiting for you to learn their names before they are allowed to materialize in your conscious reality. Déjà vu. You are walking down an unfamiliar street in a foreign city, or sitting in a restaurant you have never visited before. Suddenly, a wave of intense familiarity washes over you. You feel, with absolute certainty, that you have lived this exact moment before. The exact tilt of the light, the clink of a glass, the words being spoken. Déjà vu is the uncanny sensation that a current, novel event or experience has been lived through or witnessed previously. Neuroscientists trace this to a brief timing error in the brain's memory systems. Normally, sensory information travels to your temporal lobe, where it is processed in real time before being encoded as a memory. During déjà vu, a neurological delay occurs. One pathway processes the sensory input a fraction of a millisecond slower than another. Your brain receives the same information twice, misinterpreting the slightly delayed second signal as an old memory. It is a momentary lapse in your internal clock, where your brain mistakenly labels your immediate present as a memory from your past, giving you the brief, ghostly illusion of predicting the future. Phantom vibration syndrome. You are walking down the street, and you feel a distinct, familiar buzz in your front pocket. You reach down, pull out your phone, and look at the screen. There are no messages, no missed calls, and no notifications. The device was completely silent, yet your skin registered a physical vibration. Also known as ringxiety or faux alarm, this is a tactile hallucination where you mistakenly perceive your mobile phone vibrating when it is not. This is a byproduct of modern neurological adaptation. Your brain is highly plastic and quickly integrates external tools into your body schema. Because you constantly anticipate social connection or updates, your somatosensory cortex becomes hypersensitive to mechanical stimuli. It misinterprets simple micromovements, like the friction of your clothes against your skin or a muscle twitch, as a phone notification. Your technology has become so deeply integrated into your nervous system that your brain now invents physical sensations to satisfy its digital expectations, turning a plastic device into a phantom limb. Pareidolia. You walk into your dark kitchen late at night and look at the electrical outlet on the wall, or the pattern of knots on a wooden cabinet door. Instantly, you see a face staring back at you, 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Even though you know it is just plastic or wood, you cannot unsee the expression on its face. Pareidolia is the psychological tendency to perceive a specific, meaningful image, most commonly a human face, in a random or ambiguous visual pattern. This is an evolutionary survival mechanism hardwired into our ancestors. In the ancient wilderness, failing to see a predator hiding in the brush was a fatal mistake, whereas mistaking a shadow for a predator had no cost. Your brain developed a highly sensitive, hyperactive agency detection device. It is structurally biased to find faces and patterns in chaos, prioritizing speed over accuracy. Your brain would rather lie to you and invent a ghost in the shadows than risk missing a real threat, meaning your daily reality is populated by harmless illusions designed to keep you alive. The McGurk Effect. You are watching a video of a person speaking. Their mouth moves to shape the syllable gaga. However, the audio track plays the sound baba. Your brain, caught in the middle of this sensory conflict, suddenly invents a compromise. What you actually hear is dada. The McGurk Effect is a perceptual phenomenon that demonstrates an interaction between hearing and vision in speech perception, where the visual information from a speaker's mouth alters the auditory perception of the sound. We think of hearing and seeing as separate systems, but your brain is a multi-sensory processor. When interpreting speech, it does not rely solely on sound waves hitting your eardrum. It heavily weighs the visual shape of the speaker's lips. When the audio and visual signals conflict, your brain rejects the raw auditory data and synthesizes a third, entirely artificial sound to make sense of the discrepancy. What you hear is not an objective recording of the outside world, but a heavily edited translation. Your brain is willing to alter the physical sounds of reality just to make sure your eyes and ears agree on the story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and subscribe.